trophy. Milan are back on top of the European tree. It's wonderful from Kaka, absolutely magical. The European Cup goes to Milan.
Campione d'Italia 2010-2011 al Milan!
Well, Berlusconi's reign as owner of Milan helped deliver one of the most successful eras in club history, and the high point of that trophy-filled era came in 1994 when the Rossoneri dominated an outstanding Barcelona side in the Champions League final, cementing their status as the kings of Europe. Let's take a look back at that iconic match in the latest installment of C'era una volta, Matteo.
Yes, and this was a period in Milan's height when they were expected to win everything. They were actually going into this game as the underdogs against Barcelona. They were without some great players like Van Basten, who was injured, Baresi, who was suspended, without Costa Curta or Jean-Pierre Papin, and instead they won 4-0, a brace from Massaro, a goal from the magician Savicevic, and then Desai putting the dagger at the end. But this was a game that really encapsulated this brilliant era, first under Arrigo Sacchi, then Fabio Capello, winning in spectacular fashion, incredible depth. They were expected to sign the best players in the world, and they did it with style and class, and really a team that had some of those most memorable players, even today when we look back at just the icons from top to bottom.
It really was a memorable time to be a Rossoneri fan, and one that you will probably know better than anyone. I mean, what was it about that era that made it so special as a fan, and do you remember these moments?
Yeah, so I was born in Milano in 1987, and from 1990 to 93, I would say, my dad would take me to every game at San Siro. Right. So my first memories, obviously when you're 5 or 6, you're not looking at the game the same way that you are now. But my first memories were of, I remember Savicevic would always score when I went to the game with my dad. I remember watching, obviously, the wonderful Dutch players there, Ruud Gullit, and his hair that was so iconic. Then I would always know who Gullit was even before, I was 4 years old. So it was just those experiences that really give you the passion and make you feel so connected with the club, and something that you do with your family, right? Because that was my time with my dad. I wouldn't see him all week. He was working, and then in the weekend we'd always go to San Siro. So for me, it was really special to go to those games.
Not many football fans in the world have a luxury of an era where they win that many trophies. 29 trophies they won in 3 decades. I mean, you watch this back in a different way to how Matteo lived it, seeing as you're a little bit younger, Marco.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember the moments, but for me, Serie A is so important on the history. And I'm sure, like your father, my father made sure that he passed down all of these memories because they lead us to where we are today. And when you see these numbers and you see 5 Champions League under these two amazing men in football, Berlusconi and Galliani, this is the pride of Italy. They led the way and paved the path for what we live today and for what Milan has become to so many. So while I don't remember living the moments live, it kind of feels like it is, because my dad used to sit me down on a chair and say, watch this of Van Basten, watch Maldini in this moment, watch Gullit. So, very proud that they were able to do this for us.
Almost took it for granted those years, the stability, the balance, and the style you mentioned that they did it in. I mean, Milan was the team to watch back in the day. They were the most powerful team from the 90s to the 2000s. I used to watch them, and for me, I remember they had the bite of Gattuso, they had the nastiness up front, they had finishers, they had style, world-class players, and you almost for a moment took it for granted because they did, in my eyes, dominate world football the way it should be played and the way you win and the way you do certain things with class. They've dominated that era for a while.
From 88 to 98, 6 Scudetti, 4 Supercoppe, 3 Champions Leagues. And you have to remember back in the day, Arrigo Sacchi, the style of football he played, the offensive style, that was not something that everyone did, right? So he was introducing this brand new style of football that maybe total football, you'd see it before that with the Dutch national team. But, to have fullbacks that were attacking, that wasn't something most teams did. So it was really revolutionizing the game as well.
And for Berlusconi today, I suppose it's his old love against his new love, isn't it?